Pixar's Cars 3 is a return to form for the series, filled with high-octane action, hilarity, and all the things that tug at your heartstrings. Naturally, it's hitched with a truckload of hidden secrets and Easter eggs, so let's hit the road. When we catch up with Lightning McQueen, he and his contemporaries are enjoying their friendly ebbs and flows on the circuits. But all they've built gets threatened when the newer state-of-the-art racers begin to steal their thunder. One rookie in particular, Jackson Storm, voiced by Armie Hammer, really gets under Lightning's hood. Lightning must come to terms with the fact that he's not the latest and greatest thing on the track, a tale as old as time, but particularly personal for Cars 3's racing consultant, NASCAR driver Jeff Gordon. Jeff was able to advise not just on the technical aspects of racing in Cars 3, but also the emotional journey of shifting from hotshot rookie to seasoned vet. You might remember Jeff as the voice of Crow Car Jeff Gorvat from Cars 2, a movie that took the series beyond the scope of the original Cars, adding a globe-trotting espionage plot to the international race at the center of the movie. Cars 2, for all intents and purposes, was a success, especially at the box office. But for a Pixar film, critical and audience reactions were mixed. It was believed at the time that with the release of Cars 3, Pixar wanted audiences to forget all about Cars 2. But did you know there actually are details in Cars 3 that directly relate to its predecessor? For instance, Lightning McQueen has his headlights, a detail he had installed in Cars 2 in preparation for the night driving during the World Grand Prix. Also, take a look at the scene where Lightning has a meeting with his racing club's new owner, Sterling. We'll get to Sterling in a bit, but there's a framed picture on the wall behind Sterling's desk, on the left next to the golden car statue. If you zoom in and squint, you can make out the face of Miles Axelrod, the nefarious host of the World Grand Prix from Cars 2. Also, remember Mater's little detour to Paris in Cars 2? During the montage, he passed by two cars kissing on a bridge. Their names are John and Nancy, and they can be seen on Lightning's TV in Cars 3. Yep, still going at it. Jeff Gorvat, of course, makes another appearance, this time at the final race in Cars 3, the Florida 500. But the most telling detail that exists in both films is the Doc Hudson Racing Museum. In Cars 2, it's implied that Doc is no longer living. In fact, the filmmakers only gave a paltry 37 seconds of the movie's runtime to address it. But in Cars 3, Doc's influence is given a second life, as Lightning gets back to basics in preparation for the Florida 500. Doc appears to Lightning in a series of flashbacks, and his legacy looms heavy over McQueen after a terrible crash on the track puts Lightning out of commission for months. Doc, of course, was voiced by screen legend Paul Newman, who reprises his role in Cars 3. But wait, how can that be? Newman passed away in 2008, 3 years before Cars 2 was even released. Well, it just so happened that at the time of his recording for the original Cars, Newman remained at the microphone to share his own experiences and racing stories with director John Lasseter. These conversations gave the editors of Cars 3 enough content to have Paul Newman reprise his role as the Hudson Hornet. Did you know Paul Newman also voiced Doc in Cars the video game? Audio from that project also wound up in Cars 3. Take this flashback scene, for instance, where he's balancing a stack of objects on his hood ornament. He says, "You might want to take notes on this one." In the game, Doc can be heard saying that same line when passing another car in a race. A Doc line from the video game even found its way into one of the trailers for Cars 3. In the opening seconds, Doc can be heard saying, "Get ready for what's coming." Paul Newman isn't the only voice to receive the posthumous treatment. Tom Magliozzi, the voice of Rusty, gave his last bow in 2014. He and real-life brother Ray play the owners of Lightning's racing club, Rusty and Dusty. Instead of hiring a sound-alike to fill Tom's role, the filmmakers decided to go into the archives of Car Talk, the long-running radio show Tom and Ray shared for over 3 decades. They were able to find lines in old episodes of the show that served the character of Rusty in the movie. It seems Rusty and Dusty see the writing on the wall. They know they're not getting any younger, so they decide to sell the Rusty's brand over to Mr. Sterling Burnish, voiced by Nathan Fillion. Pixar fans might recognize his dulcet baritone voice, but from where? Fillion voiced Alpha Jock Johnny in Monsters University. His character also shares another interesting coincidence with the Monsters universe. Sterling is known as the Mud Flap King of the Eastern Seaboard. Fans of Monsters Inc. will remember that Sully and Mike Wazowski scare along the Eastern Seaboard near the beginning of the movie. Maybe in some alternate universe, monster trucks show up to scare the mufflers off little coops, but I digress. Sterling takes over the reins at Rusty's, and though he's built a state-of-the-art training center, his real interests lie in merchandising and capitalizing on the likenesses of his new acquisition, Lightning McQueen. Did you know that Nathan Fillion was featured as another rich investor who owned a mud flap company in the animated series Gravity Falls? His name, Preston Northwest. Fillion must know a heck of a lot about mud flaps by now, both east and northwest. Anyway, Lightning isn't ready to call it quits, only to stand by and watch as his face gets muddied on the backsides of other vehicles. So he makes a deal with Sterling: one more race. If he loses, he retires and sells merchandise for Sterling. If he wins, he gets to choose when it's time to retire. Sterling, for his part, agrees to the deal. He must really be a sucker for a comeback story. Turns out he's also a sucker for a Cinderella story too. Remember the gold car on the wall behind his desk from earlier? Just to the right of it, you'll find a model of Cinderella's pumpkin carriage on display. There's one more Easter egg on display with regard to Sterling's office. As Lightning waits outside, look at the frosted glass doors. On the right is Sterling's name and title, on the left, A113, the unmistakable reference and in-joke for any Pixar animator who spent time learning their craft in classroom A113 at the California Institute of the Arts. Did you know that A113 exists in another place where it cannot be found on screen? I sound like a crazy person, don't I? Take a look at Shannon Spake, voiced by real-life sports reporter and correspondent Shannon Spake. Her press credentials include a barcode along with the number A113, but viewers wouldn't know this unless they looked her up online and bought her toys. That's because in the movie we only see Spoke's left side. Her credentials are on her right. A113, of course, can also be found on Mater's license plate. And as we've seen in Cars 2, license plates are a great place to find other hidden secrets as well. So, whose license plate should we pay attention to here? How about Cruz Ramirez, Sterling's top trainer assigned to help bring Lightning up to speed? Cruz's license plate reads C0106A, which doesn't seem to mean much. Unlike, say, Finn McMissile's license plate from Cars 2, the letters and numbers are all mixed together. Well, actually, the C and the A go together, sandwiching the numbers. C stands for Cristela and A stands for Alonso, the first and last names of the comedian and actor who voices Cruz Ramirez. As for the numbers, Cristela was born on January 6th, just in case you wanted to get her something. Also, her plate is from Texas, just like Cristela. Lightning doesn't take well to Cruz's brand of training, preferring instead to get his tires dirty over her aerobics regimens and treadmills. Speaking of treadmills, the first time we meet Cruz, she's training some up-and-coming racers and using custom tactics to make each racer better. One of the millennial cars feels homesick, so she puts an image of his hometown on the screen. Do you recognize it? It's Santa Cecilia, the town where Coco takes place. Coco came out just a few months after Cars 3, making this another one of Pixar's preview plug Easter eggs. Real quick, there's another Coco Easter egg to be found in Cars 3, inside the Cotton Pin Bar and Grill in Thomasville. Turn your attention to the stage. Behind the local band, you'll see an ivory white guitar hanging on the wall. It belongs to Ernesto de la Cruz from Coco. By the way, that bluesy tune the band is playing is called Glory Days, performed by Andra Day. Did you know that this is a cover song? Glory Days was first made famous back in, well, the glory days of 1984 by the boss, Bruce Springsteen, off his Grammy Hall of Fame album Born in the USA, an album critics consider one of the best ever made. We'll work our way back to Thomasville again soon, but first, let's throw her in reverse and head to Fireball Beach. Have a listen to the mobile treadmill Cruz brings with her to Lightning's first real-world training session. The boot-up should sound familiar, particularly if you ever used an Apple computer product. Pixar also used that same sound in the movie WALL-E to signal when the adorable compactor robot was fully charged. To Cruz's credit, she does try to accommodate McQueen and his training style, but McQueen winds up losing a whole day having to teach her the basics of driving on sand. At one point, she interrupts his work because she's afraid of running over little crabs. As infuriating as this moment is for Lightning, Cruz might be onto something. At the end of the training day, when Lightning sees the sign for Thunder Hollow, look at the little sign on the bottom left. Thunderball Beach isn't just your normal beach, it also happens to be a crab sanctuary. I guess Cruz was right to want to tread lightly. Haha, get it? Tread? Anyway. So on to Thunder Hollow, we go for more training by the way of an actual race on a small dirt track. Of course, to avoid public scrutiny, Lightning needs to compete in disguise. His tour truck, Mac, has the inspired idea of covering Lightning in mud. Well, he said he wanted to get his tires dirty. Mac disguises himself as well, draping a Jocko Flacco's party supplies sign along his trailer. Did you know that Jocko Flacco was the name of a real NASCAR legend? He placed first in a race at Hickory Speedway in 1953. Oh, did I mention he was a monkey? Jocko was pro racer Tim Flock's unofficial co-driver. Flock's sponsor, Ted Chester, happened upon a capuchin monkey in a pet store while looking for a new family puppy. Seeing the monkey's name Jocko, he felt Jocko Flocko had a nice ring to it and devised the harebrained idea to stir up some publicity for Flock by putting the monkey in the car with him as he raced. In his checkered flag win at Hickory, Flocko even beat out the legendary Herb Thomas, the inspiration for Doc Hudson. But enough monkey business. Back to Thunder Hollow. There are loads of references and Easter eggs to be found here, especially with regard to its main attraction. As it turns out, Lightning's plan to race backfires when he realizes he snuck himself and Cruz into a demolition derby, and he's about to get a crash course in, well, crash courses from Miss Fritter, the dominating school bus and undefeated champion of the Crazy Eight. Miss Fritter is voiced by comedian and actor Leah Delaria, who is probably best known for her role, Big Boo, on the series Orange is the New Black, a fact the filmmakers have fun with. After the announcer gives her introduction, she sneaks up behind Lightning and Cruz, blowing flames and scaring them out of their tires. Her first line of dialogue? Boo. Her name, too, seems to be a sort of wordplay. Remember the PBS animated series adapted from the hit children's book series, The Magic School Bus? The name of the teacher who drove the school bus is Miss Frizzle. Miss Fritter takes great pride in her collection of license plates taken off her long line of competitors. But there's also a street sign on her left side that should look familiar, if you can catch it. The street sign reads W Cutting, and Toy Story fans might remember it on display above Andy's closet in Toy Story 3. West Cutting Boulevard is super significant, as it just so happens to be the street where Pixar Studios is located in Richmond, California. That's not the only Toy Story reference on the track. Maybe you missed it zinging by after the gates are locked on Cruz and McQueen, but don't worry, you get another chance later when the green and blue number 72 catches air. As he lands, he sends another object flying into the crowd. Fittingly enough, we see that it's a rocket, but not just any rocket, the Pizza Planet rocket from another unfortunate and famous competitor, the Pizza Planet delivery truck. Suffice to say, a lot of crashed cars are seeing stars in this competition. You are too if you look hard enough and fast enough. Check out the 3-car pileup at the mercy of Miss Fritter. The middle car, Bill, who greets Patty, has a very important star on his hood because it's on a ball. The ball from the Luxo Jr. animated short. If you're superhero quick, you might have seen the top of the car behind Bill right at the beginning of the crash. If not, you've got one last shot at catching a glimpse of it along the fence. It's a Captain America car with a star shield on top. In all this carnage, is it really any surprise the Demolition Derby is sponsored by a car life insurance company? But not just any company. Take a look around the track during the race, and you're liable to see a red and yellow sign for the company Insuracare, the very same company Bob Parr works for in The Incredibles. The real Incredibles, where Lightning and Cruz are concerned, are the legendary racers they meet in Thomasville. See, I told you we'd be back. After coming bumper to bumper with Doc's old coach, Smokey, voiced by Chris Cooper, Smokey takes them to the Cotton Pin Bar and Grill, where they get to meet the heroes of their youth. Junior Midnight Moon, voiced by racing great Junior Johnson, River Scott, voiced by Isaiah Whitlock Jr., and Luis Barnstormer Nash, performed by Margo Martindale. The classics reminisce about the old days with Doc, or HUD as they call him. HUD, of course, is short for Hudson, as in the Hudson Hornet, which is the type of car Doc was. But HUD holds extra weight for Paul Newman fans. One of the late actor's landmark roles was as the rancher's son with inner demons, HUD Bannon, in the 1963 movie HUD. Thomasville itself is a tribute to Doc's inspiration Herb Thomas, who drove the fabulous Hudson Hornet. Smokey, too, was named after Thomas's crew chief, Henry Smokey Eunuch. Even his garage is a tribute. See the sign outside Smokey's garage that reads "Best Dang Garage in Town"? Smokey Eunuch had the same sign, only his said "Best, other D-word garage in town." Yeah, you get it. Speaking of tributes, there's someone in the Cars series that doesn't get enough props. As much as Pixar loves John Ratzenberger, there's another reliable voice that deserves to be heard above the din, and that's the voice of Sally Carrera, actor Bonnie Hunt. Did you know that Bonnie's voice has been featured in 8 Pixar movies? She played Rosie in A Bug's Life, Miss Flint in Monsters, Inc., Sally in all 3 Cars films, Dolly in the Toy Story films, and teacher Karen Graves in Monsters University. Seems like Pixar has more than one good luck charm. Another neglected character this time around is Lightning's good buddy Mater. His screen time is cut down quite a bit in this installment, but like all good friends, he shows up when it really matters. If it wasn't for Mater, Lightning wouldn't have gone looking for Smokey in the first place. A particularly fun Disney reference can be siphoned from the scene just before Mater talks to McQueen over video chat. Be sure to listen to the song Mater sings to himself. Although he's putting his own words in it, the tune is to a classic song for Disney called "Put It in the Bag," the Humphrey Hop. In its most famous incarnation, the song is performed by a bunch of cartoon bears who pick up litter while bumping butts to the beat of the song. I hope you enjoyed the video and had fun finding cool secrets and details you might have missed in Cars 3. Make sure you subscribe to Movie Logic for more daily movie facts, trivia, and Easter eggs.